Okay, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that wherever you are is doing good for you. It's me, it's Paul Carpenter. Hello. How are you? I hope your weekend was well. All of that good stuff. Now, folks, I am bringing to you a prophetic message of what is happening in this world. I have been very heavy in the conversations with all different types of people. And the more that I tell this thing that I'm about to tell you guys, the more I know how real and right it is. And not because I'm saying it, but because other people are seeing the same thing after I say it. So I've just recently wrote a new book, and it's about the walk of technology and biology and how it works in a symbiotic relationship. I feel that so many people are stuck in this world where they are not aware of what's happening. And the reason for this is because there's so much going on. It's so hard to keep up. And so what happens is that people have been locked into a slavery mindset. And I talk about this mindset a lot. I post about it a lot. And it's a mindset of slavery, both in the mind and also one that is based in money. And so there are people who will teach and or share their wins in this life as if they are in a better position because they have money. And many people who do have real money, not just a couple million, but real money, recognize that once you have a certain amount of it, the rest of it's kind of useless and doesn't do much for you. The idea of what's happening right now is that technology and biology are coming to a convergence. And this is a very heavy kind of conversation to have, but I feel as though it's one that needs to be shared. I've said many times already that if I share this, I will most likely be killed because of the information. This is why no publisher has touched my books. This is why when I do tell the entire thing, people are a bit taken aback and overwhelmed. Artificial intelligence is the greatest, most powerful form of technology that we've ever seen on this planet. More powerful than fire, the wheel, electricity, motors, doesn't matter. And there are two types of people in this world when it comes to this story. One are the ones who like to say that they're going to ride the Kali Yuga, Kali being the goddess of death and a yuga being a wave. And then there are those who want to uphold an idea of the human ideal. when you look at technology and you get to the extremes of it, you're looking at what would be considered to be the hard right, let's call it, okay? So you're into fascism, you're into full control, and then on the other side of it, it's very, very airy, fairy, love, and it's a sense of biology. Um, as these two things come together, the five war theory, which is the book that I wrote, and the 7 types of humans becomes more and more real along the way. And I've mentioned this before, but the 7 types of humans is this. You have indigenous people who have never touched a computer. You have those who are like you and me, who are, computer users, have cell phones. Then the third are those who are genetically modified or will become genetically modified. The fourth are the people who are technologically modified in some way, shape, or form, which is what's happening soon. And then the fifth are those who are controlled by the AI, somewhat like what's happening already in China with the social credit score system. The sixth are the technocrat oligarchs who have the money and the power to be able to use forms of technology that are still rare to the world. And the seventh is what I call the genetically modified nano baby, a baby that is no longer human and no longer just a robot. And from that comes the 5 wars. And the first of the 5 wars is the one that we're seeing now, a ideological war that's based on religion. And that leads to the end of that war ends to whether it works, or there's no such thing as good or evil anymore. It's either that which works or does not work over a millennia, over 10 lifetimes. The second war, which has already started, because I don't know, many wars can happen kind of not simultaneously, but as one is coming to its culmination, another one starts up. And this next war is based on acceptance or non-acceptance of technology. And then from there, that becomes a chasm. And it's already started, as it already has in the entertainment industry, on acceptance or non-acceptance of the idea of artificial intelligence. And at the end of that, you have a massive canyon between two groups of people who are on one side say, no, just stay on the earth, just be human, just go to the woods, don't get into Babylon. And then you have the other side, which is fully robots, which is fully transhuman people. And if you're wondering how we get to transhumanism, this is the story of what I like to call society's elasticity. And if you think about it, 10 years ago, Google glasses came out, which were able to tap, record, and anyone could have it. Even I believe Snapchat came out with their own glasses that people were standing in line just to get. And it wasn't accepted. It was something that was super like, no way, I don't want people to follow me and take pictures of me and so forth. And now Ray-Ban 10 years later comes out with the glasses and everybody's okay with it. So in that same idea is how we get to transgender all the way from the 1910s, 1920s. In the 1910s, 1920s in the United States, there was an ideal, 1930s, there was an ideal of really creating a new world, a world of technology, a world of fundamental utopia. And there were two sets of people, like I said at the beginning, those who wanted to ride the Kali Yuga of destruction and those who actually wanted to do something positive and beautiful in the world. And what you end up having from that is you start to see how transgender starts to become a thing. It starts like this. In the 1920s and 30s, it was abhorrent to be gay. It was the worst thing. 1940s, 50s, we have our first gay FBI please forgive me, the first FBI director who was gay. And the 1960s and 70s, you have the sexual revolution, MK Ultra, LSD, and it is given to the world on some level. And then in the 1980s, it was okay to be gay. In the 1990s, if you didn't like the gays, then you were not cool. In the 2000s, it was about transgender, transvestites. And then that led to, if you didn't like them in the 2020 or 2010s, then you weren't cool. And now 2020, it's fully accepted. And the transgender ideology has found its way in a curve, right? So not that it's going away, but that the acceptance of it is now just an everyday thing. And the reason that we have this is because, and this is one of my books, I say transgender, human equals eugenics. And the reason that I say that is because once artificial intelligence fully takes over and we have artificial general intelligence, this machine, this idea of thinking, will want to better the human race. And so it will fix cancer. It'll fix any form of bodily issue. And in doing so, it is in essence talking about the creation of eugenics, creation of the perfect human. And you can't have that thing, just like you couldn't have the glasses 10 years ago. You can't have that come out of nowhere. It has to be something that is accepted slowly. And so this is why there's no gender. This is why this happens. Because in the future, the genetically modified nano baby doesn't need a gender. You could just make the baby inside of a test tube. And so that starts the third war within my book, The 5 War Theory. And the third war is when the humans who are real humans, who have never been genetically modified, want to fight the robots and the transhumans who have become something else. And these humans lose out on that war almost immediately. The fourth war is when AI no longer needs humans, when it has gotten to a point where it has all of the information, it has all of the abilities, it can do whatever it needs to do, and it just wipes out humanity altogether. Not the transhumans, but the actual humans that no longer have any reason to be. If you didn't follow along and you didn't become a transhuman, then you're just a waste of space. And this is the goal of the 2030 agenda, all of these things. And this is just the beginning. The 2030 agenda is just the beginning to that whole process. So then after that, you have the fourth war. Well, I already said it, but the AI takes out humanity. And then the fifth war is when we get to the symbiotic moment. It's not a war, but it's a moment of a convergence between that which is technology and that which is biology, which is the genetically modified nano baby. And so I'm saying all of this because there's a lot of people out there that say that they're AI experts or that AI is not coming to take your job. AI is taking your job. There's a lot of people out there that will sell you something because they're only living for today. They're not living for tomorrow. They don't care about tomorrow. They don't care about you. They don't care about what's really going on. It's just that simple. Either that or they just don't know what's going on. As soon as artificial general intelligence happens, the speed of and the insanity of the world only becomes faster than where it is now. And right now you have a lot of people who are in this old world 1950s mentality that they just want to have the world the way that it used to be. They want this whole concept that is an old world style thinking. It is what I call the gatekeeping. And at the beginning of this whole thing, when we were, say, 7,000, 8,000, 10 years ago, 10,000 years ago, the idea started with who had the most knowledge and who had the most land could be the king. And then that moved and progressed into who had the most information and who had the biggest weapon, i.e. the atomic bomb. And then the next version of that is who has the most information and who has the strongest artificial intelligence, which is the race that we're on right now. If you just look on the under layer of what people are fighting for right now, it's the United States against the world. The United States is free, and we care about love and open markets, which is not true, but it's the social idea of what that is. Social consciousness, if you will. And so that leads to either China or Russia get the AI and they kind of control the world, or America and American corporations and the oligarchs get the control of AI and they own and control the world. The idea of having smart cities in itself, the acronym is based in control. So surveillance, machine, I don't remember it exactly, but all of the words are about control in a very fascist dictator style way, sort of kind of like what, again, mentioned is happening in China with the credit score system. So you get to a place where everything gets so out of whack and so absolutely insane that the AI comes in and takes over, and then everybody is kind of 1984 telling on each other because they want to have a better society than the anarchy that is happening right outside the door with the hippies who are living in the forest, because that's full on anarchy in the future. And so for those of people out there that do not believe that the AI is going to end up taking over everything, you're wrong. You're just wrong. The only thing will stop AI is a mass corona ejection, an EMP blast that puts us all back into the Stone Ages, because nobody would have cars. Cars would stop working because alternators would seize. Everything that has any form of electronics will just die. No cell phones, no lights, no anything really. And there's nothing that the structure and the substructure of the world can stop that. Now, a lot of people think that I'm on some doomsday thing. But really, this all comes down to living within a fractal and living within a replenishing circular system, one that breathes openly and then closes and then comes back up and starts over and over again. It's like a creation of never-ending creation. And we are at the part of the story in which it goes into this flatline state and then it breathes again. And so we aren't to be scared. We aren't to be freaked out. It's what it is meant to be. That's the story. It's meant to be this way. And so the only thing you can really do here is one of two things. You can freak out, go absolutely crazy. Oh my God, the AI, and try and fight the process of evolution, or you could just go along with the flow, which is very much the Kali Yuga kind of mindset, but on a different level, because the Kali Yuga just states make as much money as you can, destroy the earth as much as you can. And that's not really the whole process either. It's really about finding yourself and finding the beauty that you hold and inspiring somebody else along the way. If we have any control or any amount of butterfly effect, it is to, at the very least, measure ourselves before we are gone. Do the best we can for others, because if we don't, we leave a very kind of angry past, which doesn't do good for you, me, or anyone else. And it doesn't leave positivity for how we will be seen. And right now, I'm letting you know, we don't get seen very well and very favorably because of the way that we have always been so we have allowed ourselves to become complacent to the destruction of our own soul, of our own hearts. And that's not a positive place to have the idea of what humanity was meant to be. We were always meant to be kind and beautiful and generous to each other. And yet we end up many times doing the opposite of that. And it's only rare occasions where you hear or see the story of somebody who's kind to somebody, or someone who saved somebody else from this ultimate destruction. So it seems like it's all black out of the yin and yang, and there's only one little bits of white here and there that make it worthwhile to be human, when it should be the other way around. It should be that we're all loving each other, we're all sharing with each other, we're all giving to each other, so that we can have a better existence. And it's really just about your own journey here. At the end of this, I believe we all are to be walking onto a stage one by one, like in some form of a graduation, holding on to our crystal that's like a quartz crystal that's inside of a radio, that you tune to a certain station, right? I'm going to be a country version, or I'm going to be the rap or the rock version, or even the classical or NPR person. And that's who you become in your life, because it's the resounding chamber that you have listened to, that you've maybe been adapted to. And at the end of it, you get to put your little piece of art onto the greatest piece of art that was ever and will ever be created. And as soon as you touch that and everybody's applauding you, all of a sudden, boom, you're in the audience now watching the next person who's putting up their piece of art, putting up their moment. And you're applauding them getting to say, wow, you lived too. You got to be in this journey. And we're all proud of each other, no matter what it is that we did, because when you go back to source, there is no good or bad. There is I was and I did. And there is no other thing. And that's a crazy thing to say, especially for those who were rapists or murderers or Genghis Khan or Hitler. They're all here for a reason, just like you're here for a reason, just like all of the things we say or do are part of the journey, part of this fractal design. And you're not here to understand it. You're not here to comprehend it. You're just here to experience it. I like to say that life is like a waterfall, or not like a waterfall, but a water slide. And anytime that you get scared during the water slide, you try to hold on to the sides of the water slide, and all this water is pushing against you. And lo and behold, over time, somebody will come from behind and kick you into moving again, because this thing doesn't stop for you or anyone else. And that's the process. We have to just keep living through the process. So if you know that that's a truism, then do everything in your power to inspire others. And like I saw someone recently, and he said the purpose of life is to have a true passion in life. And I don't think that that's true in any way, shape, or form. I think the real purpose in life is inspiring others. Having a passion doesn't do much if it's not shared. If it's not making somebody else want to have their own inspirational moment. And that's where it really resides. It's having other people be affected by the existence that you lived. And just because your existence was this, that, or the other doesn't mean that you had passion. It just meant that you lived. We all live. And so, and some of us live in ways that make no sense to others and would not be considered passionate or purposeful. They would just be inspired by the randomness of it all, or the ism of that person's life for whatever reason, because every person's different, every journey is different, and every inspirational thing is different. It's not necessarily purposeful for the whole. It could be just purposeful for themselves. And that to me is just, I'm inspired to be me, not because I'm trying to do anything else other than be me. And that could be someone else's trigger point. And that's not necessarily purposeful. Like, there's lots of people who are doing I'm being me to be me that has nothing to do with purpose. It just has to do with being. I think in the end, it's like saying I am the experience experiencing itself. Nothing more, nothing less. Like in the very Buddhist kind of way. You don't have anything to do here except just be here. And through that process of being here, you do your best to try and inspire somebody else, which is, I believe, in the end, when we have children and we work so hard at having a life that was one that helps that child truly recognize their own spark of divinity, whatever that is. And instead of forcing a doctrine upon that child or forcing your wants from when you didn't accomplish, and you just allow that child to be, then that child has a much better chance to express themselves in a way that will inspire others, instead of being locked in a room working in some corporate job that is mind-numbing and soul-crushing. So at the end of this whole thing, I don't want this to be some kind of like sad story for you. It's quite the opposite. I want you to understand what's coming. I want you to understand that the next phase of the evolutionary process of humanity is happening right now. No better time to be alive. Granted, it's a little crazy. Granted, it's a little intense. But all chemical reactions are intense. All chemical reactions are a little whoa when you see them up close. So, and especially if you're inside of it, you don't know what's what, and it seems overwhelming, but it just is. You're like a flower upon a bush, and your scent only lingers for one season. And if you look at the whole idea of what is like just the earth alone and the billions of years that this planet has been here and the amount of time that humanity has actually been on that planet, which is what, 20,000, maybe 50,000 years that we know of. And you look at like billions against 50,000. And then if you look at like modern day society, and let's say it's 5 to 10,000 years old. I mean, what is that? But like not even a flicker of a moment between seconds. And you exist within that flicker. And that's even shorter than all the other, I mean, woof. So the fact that you're alive, the fact that you're getting to experience, the fact that you're having this moment is the gift. That's the power of this whole thing. That it seems like it lasts a really long time, but in reality, in the real reality, in the macro of it all, friends, we don't even live a second. So within that only part of a second that you have, or even a millisecond to the 10th power times bajillion. That's not math. Try to love yourself. Try to forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made. Try to not be so angry and hurtful towards others. Judge favorably and do your best to be the best you can be. That's it. And so with that, my friends, a sobering video this morning. Please go out into the world and do something nice for somebody else. And if you can't do something nice for somebody else, please do something nice for you. It does start with you. Number 2, don't get caught up in all the crazy stuff because it just doesn't help you. It doesn't help anybody. And number 3, please, if you would not mind, like, share, subscribe. Send this out to somebody who would like to see it. Send me some comments sometimes. Say hello if anybody watches these. Dink, 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 dink. I really appreciate you. I love you. And no matter what, there's a sign right here. It says it the whole time the show's going on. It says, I will see you on the other side, no matter what.